What up, what up? It's BDF44 coming at you. So I want to discuss Dwight Howard, the Lakers options period with the center position, but particularly Dwight Howard and what I think of the option of the Lakers. Uh, the option the Lakers have to sign him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so Dwight Howard is a player, of course, that, I think is a Hall of Famer, possibly first ballot, based on the 8 years that he had, or 9 years that he had with the Orlando Magic. I felt like during that time period, he was one of the, if not the most dominant defensive presence in the league. Led his team to an NBA Finals, went to a bunch of All-Star appearances. I think he had some All-NBA appearances, All-Defensive appearances, one of the best rebounders we had ever seen. So for 8 years, this dude was a force of nature and the best center in the Eastern Conference. But he had some issues with accepting certain things, I guess, off the court maybe. I think it was one of those type of deals where he kind of had a certain view of himself, and I don't think that the game viewed him the same way. For the simple fact that he couldn't shoot free throws, he didn't have much of a post game, he didn't really have much of an offensive go-to move, not much versatility in that way. Couldn't stretch the floor, so he was very limited. And for the time that he was in, you could really utilize him because he was durable as heck. He played just about 82 games every year during that 8-year span. And he was someone that had damn near perfect timing as it pertains to blocking shots, again, rebounding, lob, finishing, things like that. He just was gifted in terms of his timing. So that's what I noticed most about him. And of course, he was given a huge, colossal He-Man like frame in a 6'10" body. So he was just chiseled. He looked like a machine. So it was like, okay, this dude can really lead you, even though he has some weaknesses and some attributes that don't really make him a fluent basketball player like a Akeem Olajuwon or Shaq or somebody like that. That type of footwork. But what he can bring to the table, he brings at a super high clip. So you definitely wanted him on your squad. But at what cost? Caused a lot of trauma in Orlando trying to get out of there, basically saying that the coach was trying to get him traded. There was a lot going on with that. Probably stayed too long. Some of that stuff was outside of his control, but he ended up with the Lakers. That didn't go so well because he had a really bad back injury based on all that usage. It finally caught up to him, and more or less Dwight Howard found himself on the outside looking in. And he had some trouble off the court and some further injuries with his back and his backside. And we all know the history. It was just a lot of stuff and that didn't cater to him possibly ever being dominant again on the basketball floor or anything like that. But he's out there. He's been working out for a while. He's kind of found his lane, so to speak, as a role player in this league, having been a journeyman for the past several years. And though things didn't go well with his last tenure with the Lakers, having had it out with Kobe Bryant and Kobe calling him soft and basically him leaving the Lakers to sign with the Rockets, leaving Kobe high and dry without a number two guy to finish his career with. So everybody hated him for that more or less here in LA. And the tenure just didn't go well. But I understood that he gave us what he had. He started his career here hurt. He gave us a lot of effort through injury. So that should be noted, and I haven't forgotten that. Do I want to bring him back now that Boogie Cousins has gone down, I guess is the question. And the answer is sure. I mean, I'm not a Dwight Howard fan per se, and I think that there are other options out there that we could take a look at. But being that Boogie went down, what you want to try to find is someone who has the experience that Boogie had. You kind of want to simulate some of what Boogie could bring to the table. And while he doesn't have the exact same strengths and weaknesses that Boogie had, in fact, they're pretty much opposites. But what Dwight can do, give you 6 fouls that you can use, experience, defense, which he's always been great at, and rebounding, which he's always been great at. I don't think that those attributes go anywhere if he's healthy. I think that he can go on any basketball floor in the league or in the world and do what he does, And I think that we're at a point in his career where we don't expect a whole lot from him. He's not going to have the same role that Boogie would have had on this team as a starting center. He would definitely, in my opinion, play behind some people, particularly play behind JaVale McGee, obviously, but I don't even know if he'd be the second option at center. I think we'd probably move AD to the center position anyway in the event that Dwight's here. But he would just give us another body and another superstar caliber experienced player who has final experience, like Boogie has, that we could slide into that position and try to somehow replace the body that Boogie isn't able to give us. So that's an option. A lot of people have mentioned Kenneth Faried. I'm not a Kenneth Faried guy for several reasons. One, he never reached his potential in Denver. He played there for 1 trillion years, and really I didn't see a whole lot that excited me about him other than the fact that he was really, really exciting on putback dunks. If something comes off the rim, he can catch it, slam it. He could still do that to this very second. He's really good at that kind of stuff. He's an energy guy, but he's not overly effective at what he's good at, which is why he's considered more or less an average player. He has had games where he can give you 20 and 10, but those games come far in between, and most of the time he's really not giving you much. Now, what I wonder is how much that had to do with him playing on a bad team his entire career and having then gone to some teams that really didn't have championship caliber expectations, with the exception of the Rockets, for which he played pretty well with last year. And I think he has established himself as a role player in this league now. So he wouldn't be a bad guy to pick up, being that I just don't think that he should be without a team at this stage in his career. I don't think that he's out of the league, and right now he's technically out of the league. So we would be a decent space for him, because I just don't think that he's that ineffective yet. You know what I mean? You want to squeeze as much as you can out of a player like that, particularly knowing that he's been in the gym for 15 years working on his body, hasn't had really too many bad injuries, is an energy guy. So at the very least, he's going to come in and give you rebounds and production and fouls. So I'm not completely against it. I'm not a big fan of his game, but I do understand why people would want him on board, and I wouldn't hate it. I mean, it's cool. I just think that when you're considering the center position, you don't want to bring in an undersized guy. That kind of defeats the purpose of not having Anthony Davis play center, because Anthony doesn't want to play center. So you want to bring in somebody who can effectively relieve Anthony Davis. If you bring in a guy like him, more or less, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're not able to guard some of the people that he needs to be able to guard, so that Anthony Davis can sit when it's necessary for him to sit. So not big on Kenneth Faried. Not big at all. But we're limited in our options. Now, I haven't seen who else is out there on the waiver wire, but Dwight Howard, if I had to choose between the two, would probably be the one, even though I'm not too certain what his body is going to be able to give us at this point himself. He might be closer to Tyson Chandler last year than he would have been to Boogie, had Boogie not gotten hurt. So don't know what to expect from him. This just brings me back to that terrible trade. You know, trading Zubac away for Muscala and allowing us to relieve ourselves of Michael Beasley's contract. I thought that was a horrible trade then, and it looks even worse today. And I want to think about a guy by the name of Thomas Bryant that we allowed to walk away as well, playing for the Washington Wizards, who's got a starting spot with that team. I don't think there's anyone standing in front of him starting for the Washington Wizards at center this year. He came along strong last year at the end of the season for their team, and it's no surprise to me because I know what his skill set is. He can shoot threes, he can rebound the ball, he plays with a lot of heart, a lot of energy, a lot of rage, and he's going to make sure that his presence is known as he develops. He's a bit slow, laterally clunky. He has to work on his body a great deal. He's never going to be a fast-paced center, nothing like that, but he can stretch the floor for you, and as he gets better at that, he's going to turn into a center that I think has possibly all-star upside, especially playing on a team like the Wizards with not a lot of options. So that's a guy I wish we didn't give away. We just let him walk out the door, and now we need a center. There he is. Still on a rookie contract for someone else. So, yeah, good, congratulations on that one. Magic and the Lakers, that was a true mistake, to say the least, one of many. But, you know, there are still options for us out there. Another guy that I think the Lakers could look at is Jonathan. His first name is Jonathan Williams, I believe is his name. He played center for us for the last couple years, a G League kind of guy. But has some things that he can bring to the table that would help us at the center position. He really rebounds the ball well. He plays with a lot of energy. He's a hustle guy. He has a few moves here and there, a few things that he's comfortable with, a little like jump hook kind of move that he likes to go to. So he has some things that he likes in his arsenal that makes him comfortable. And, he's a role player, kind of a back of the bench guy, but he is a center that we're familiar with here in LA. And, if we can't find anything on the waiver wire, he wouldn't cost us a whole lot. So that's somebody I also wouldn't mind us just picking up and just having on the roster. But as far as trying to ultimately replace Boogie Cousins, you're not going to be able to. And the reason why is because it's not that you can't find somebody who can give you what you thought Boogie was going to give you, but you're not going to find anybody who could give you the possibilities of what Boogie can give you in terms of upside. If Boogie were to come back healthy, or maybe even half of a Boogie that we know from Sacramento and New Orleans, here we have a guy who can give us 18 and 7 off the bench, possibly. You know what I mean? And that's, you can foresee games where Boogie snaps into his regular self and goes off and helps you win a game. I don't know if any of these other three players that I just mentioned have that type of capability at this stage in their careers. They're not going to win anything for you, not even on their best night. So you don't replace Boogie Cousins' upside at all, even though you may be able to match his floor with some of these guys. But it just is what it is, man. I would love to see the Lakers think outside the box. I think there may be some rookies, second-year guys, third-year guys at the center position that may not cost us anything because they haven't fully developed yet. They're sitting on the back of somebody's bench right now. You just have to make an offer for them. It's not going to probably cost you no more than a second-round pick or something to get some of these guys. That's the kind of thing we need to be doing. I wish I could say off the top of the dome the type of names that I'd like to see us get, but they're not known names and they're not guys that have done anything. They're just guys with super upside, and that's ultimately what I would want. I rarely like to reach into the bag of veterans as it pertains to putting together squads. I wouldn't have that mentality. I'm shooting for the kids. I'm going for upside. I'm going for guys who look like they may have almost bust, but still have plenty of upside and just need good coaching and good opportunities and someone to give them the rope to make mistakes. Those are the type of players I think the Lakers should be looking for instead of reaching in the bag for somebody who will take $1 million and may be able to play 35, 40 games. That just doesn't appeal to me right now. Anyway, that's what I got to say. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves. I'm having a great birthday. I'm chilling. I'm drafting basketball teams early, fantasy basketball teams early, and I'm having a great time doing it. So it's all I wanted to do for my birthday. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Thanks for watching. Peace.